time in the life of the disciples, followers, as Jesus is in the grave.
Okay.
And on Silent Saturday, it's a moment of silence, reflection, and waiting. Silence, reflection, and waiting. Something that a lot in our culture has a hard time with, because our culture is about convenience.
Pastor Nick.
Don't reflect, don't wait, have it your way, Burger King. I'm not knocking Burger King, but you get what I'm saying. Any way you want it, go get it. And God has a season of silence, reflection, and waiting. And I don't think in our fast-paced culture, we don't learn to sit down enough, reflect, calm ourselves so we can learn.
Yeah.
Because I get it. I've been there before where you want stuff to happen quick. And God is like, no, calm yourself down, reflect. And I'll throw myself on the table.
Okay.
A moment of humanity, not talking about business, but a moment of humanity.
Right.
I've learned through mourning in life, through struggles of life, this has hit me this week, how trouble can make you impatient, but more patient at the same time.
True.
It's the craziest feeling in the world. You feel impatient.
It's biblical.
It is biblical. You feel impatient, but you have more strength to be patient, calm towards others. Our wounds can make us more sensitive in a good way towards other people's wounds, connect with them, help them. Let's talk about that, because the disciples are in a quandary. They know what Jesus said, but they're living in fear, tension, stress. They got the word, but they got feelings. Jesus told them he's going to raise from the dead, but they're hiding because they're scared. Let's talk about that tension, that duplicity of feeling.
Imagine being a disciple. Jesus just says what he said. They now see that he's gone. And then zero happens on Saturday. Can silence, and is silence often, the birthplace of doubt and insecurity? Do I start to wonder what if the succession of events prevented that kind of doubt creeping in? But that Saturday, right before the promised day, is it possible in our lives, that's when our doubt, when God has said what he's going to say, we get in a situation, go through 24 hours where he says nothing. Is that where our insecurity and our doubt is birthed? Do we find ourselves wondering, is it all worth it? Has it all been worth it? Which I believe, if the disciples were human, that Silent Saturday was a major challenge. That was a Jordan or a Red Sea that had to be crossed. That if they drew back, that was a valley. That was the edge. That was the space where they had to decide whether they were going to trudge on in through the valley, or were they going to back up and go back to fishing. You know, so is silence a place, a time when we find ourselves wondering about what God has already told us he's going to do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because to me, often when God is silent, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, it's because he already told you already.
Absolutely.
But we allowed the situation to cause us to have temporary amnesia.
Or raise more questions.
Or raise more questions.
That he's already answered.
He's already answered them.
I don't know what's wrong with this.
I know. And that's a real reality that a lot of us go through. Not all the time, but from time to time. You start wondering and fear starts to creep in. And go ahead.
This whole trouble doing two things at once is actually biblical. Peace does not produce patience. Tribulation does. So the trouble, we would think, oh, I can develop some patience during peaceful times. No. God knows how we work. He says, I got to send you some trouble so you can develop some endurance. Because peace does not give me endurance.
Tribulation does. The very thing that's making me feel more impatient is giving me more patience.
Because you can't get there. You can't get to patience or endurance without trouble. And unless you have trouble that develops endurance, you can't develop a sense of hope. So if I want hope, then I've got to look for what God is trying to show me during the trouble.
Yes.
so I can develop the patience based on experience with God.
Yes. And our submission to that experience. What is that thing you said before, that the sun hardens
Yeah,
hardens the clay?
hardens the clay but melts the snow.
Melts the snow.
Yes, sir. The same sun.
The same sun.
Yes, sir.
Depending on how you react to it, you can become hard,
Yep.
or you can become softer,
yep,
pliable,
yep,
more
yep.
loving, more caring.
Same sun.
Yeah. It's right. So how we manage all of this
Yeah.
allows us to become more caring and better people, or more hard. And I've seen people, you've seen people go through similar things. One, they become more hard, cantankerous. Other become more loving, compassionate, depending on your response to.
Enemy gets a victory.
Yeah.
Because if I'm hardened, I'm not whole,
Yes.
but hardness feels whole.
Yes.
So if I'm hardened, I'm not whole, which prevents me from fully pursuing God's will for my life. So what he has to do is not harden the clay. He has to soften
The clay. Yeah. And maybe that's what God was knocking off some of that stuff. And the disciples are out in fear. And we need to address this too.
Yeah.
It's not always faith instead of fear. Sometimes, actually a lot of times, it's faith while you're afraid.
Well,
You said it last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Courage is not the absence of fear. We kind of think, well, when I'm feeling brave, I'm not afraid anymore. No. Courage and fear.
Yep.
Courage is not the dissipation or the end of fear.
Yeah.
Courage is a decision I make
Yes.
in the face of fear.
Absolutely. I do it while I'm scared.
So the doubt, the seed of doubt that was in every apostle, according to the Bible, every disciple, that seed was tempted during that 24 hours of silence.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at our own lives. Sometimes if God appears to be taking too long, a seed of doubt that we haven't experienced in a long time
Yeah.
can suddenly start to feel like it's springing to life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we feed it rather than feeding our faith.
We don't remember what he said. We start remembering how we feel.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because how we feel. So, yeah. So in these moments of tension, which every believer goes through between promise and manifestation, that endurance is supposed to kick in while God is silent, while he's quiet. And then something else, like you said, taking history and making it experience, learning how to reflect and learn in that season and sit back and kind of contemplate and pray so we can get what we need to get out of that season rather than just experience it, going through it without learning from it.
Failure without wisdom is a wasted effort.
Yep.
Wisdom has to come from failure.
Yeah.
If that happens, failure was a waste of time.
Absolutely.
So failure can actually be productive.
Yeah. And they weren't doing good, but it could have been productive if they would have.
But didn't Peter come out better after he failed?
Yeah, that's the thing. Jesus told him, you're going to come out better after this.
Okay.
And that's the thing that gets me about Jesus. He says, Satan's asked for you. And he doesn't say no.
No.
He says, I'm going to pray that your faith doesn't fail.
That's right.
He doesn't say, I'm going to pray that you don't. I know you're going to fail. He tells them, you're going to mess up. But I'm going to pray your faith doesn't fail. And when you're converted, come back and help somebody else out.
And then when he gathers everybody together, I think he says, and Peter.
And Peter, yep.
Yes.
Go get him and Peter.
Go get him too.
Because I need him to come back.
That's right.
But Peter couldn't have become the Peter of Acts without going through the Peter of Calvary and all that.
Not at all.
And those things helped him become the Peter we know of later on.
Yeah. Peter was impulsive. And that impulsiveness sometimes helped him, sometimes hindered him.
Yeah.
It helped him when he had to walk on the water. It hindered him when he cut the guy's ear off.
Yeah.
So God had to balance him out. And in order to do that, that takes a journey.
Yeah.
And hopefully we won't cut anybody's ear off, in patience. But the deal is that God desires to mature us. And he knows specifically what needs to be done for each of us.
Yep. Because Peter's process was different than
Yes,
the rest of them.
sir. Yes, sir.
Because of who Peter was going to become, he had to go through that.
Absolutely.
Different than the other disciples.
And I'm pretty sure the other disciples were
Yeah.
like, why you keep getting Peter
I
chance?
know, I know.
You know, 'cause- but then you get to Acts,
Yeah.
and the guy's
See
preaching
why.
at a revival, and 5,000 folk getting saved. So
Yeah, you see why.
yeah,
So, and God can be silent,
that's right.
and it's a moment of reflection, waiting, endurance, and learning to be, which is hard, on God's schedule rather than our schedule.
We have to know how to catch ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't know how other people do it, but if I'm praying and something stupid comes up in my head, I know to rebuke that
yeah,
and get back on track.
yep.
Ask the Holy Spirit to help me stay on track as I pray.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start to think that an aberrant thought that comes into your head is something you need to nourish,
Yeah,
when it's clearly not God talking
Yep.
to you,
mm-hmm.
then you'll have these doubts and stuff. You'll start to become really adept
Yeah,
at feeding your doubt and starving your faith.
Yes.
And that's not what you want to do.
Not at all.
You're going to have doubts, but you need to starve those bad boys.
Yes, yes, yes. Acknowledge them, but and move
Starve
on.
'em.
Starve them. Just let it go.
And doubt is fed with other words.
Yeah,
And doubt is fed by hanging with the wrong crowd.
yes, yep.
The wrong crowd is like when Dorcas, I believe, when the professional mourners came,
Yeah, mm-hmm.
that was the wrong crowd.
Yeah,
Because they decided that Dorcas' situation was finished.
right.
So they showed up with the appropriate religious response.
Mm.
We got to be careful
Yep.
that we haven't pulled ourselves a circle of friends who are professional mourners,
Right.
who are just simply waiting for some catastrophe to become permanent in our lives.
Yeah, yeah. Whew. Join us tomorrow. Hope y'all enjoyed this today. Join us tomorrow for Easter Sunday service. It's going to be awesome. They have a dramatic presentation
Oh, it's gonna be good.
before the sermon.
It's gonna be good.
You want to make sure you're here on time and early.
Yeah.
Get here. Just look, don't worry about your budget, clothes. Put something on and come to church tomorrow. Invite somebody to
yeah,
be saved,
come on.
rededicate their life, lead a church home. Of course, we're sowing our resurrection seed tomorrow, at least $100. If you're going to do more, do more. If God puts it on your heart to do that, but that's what we're shooting for, at least $100. If you can't do that, do the best that you can.
Yeah.
Everybody get in where you fit in, and we're just believing God that for a blessed Easter Sunday, and we're believing God for resurrection.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to share with them before we
Well,
run?
don't think yourself out, think yourself in. Don't think yourself, well, I've been too bad to come. Whosoever will, that's done whatsoever, come to God's house.
Yeah,
And because we believe God, we can guarantee your life will never be the same.
absolutely. Living witnesses. Thank y'all for joining us for this Holy Week, and we're excited about what God is going to continue to do. Easter Sunday, but also after that, as we go towards Pentecost Sunday, talk about some Holy Ghost stuff
Yeah.
and work our way.
It's going to be good.
Every time I do a Holy Ghost series, it just seems to
Yeah,
percolate
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah.
It's going to be good. So God bless y'all, and we'll see you
See you
tomorrow.
soon.